Hello, guys. Good afternoon. Look, I know it's playoff football season and everybody's plugged into their football games today, or most of you are. But guys, I just got off a Zoom at noon Central today with the CEO of a company that I've been involved with for about 13 weeks. And she went through everything about the company, where it came from, how it works, how it makes money, why it shares. She just sat there and looked directly in the screen and laid out her heart and her vision. And I had like a 95% belief before this Zoom a little while ago, but now I've got like 100. I want to say more than 100%, but I hate when people do that. I have complete confidence in this company called NovaTech. Now, guys, for a few months, I had been watching a friend of mine get these unbelievable results with NovaTech, and she kept saying, "Scott, you got to look at it. You got to look at it." And I was busy, right? I'm vice president of an insurance company. I got 5 kids. I got soccer and baseball. I'm running and gunning all the time. And everybody's always approaching me about one business or another. And so I put it off and I put it off. And then another friend reached out and said, "Dude, you're being dumb. Look into this." And I said, "Okay, tell me what's going on." And guys, NovaTech it's licensed in Florida. It's a registered crypto hedge fund. So for those of you that think you missed the Bitcoin train because you see Bitcoin now, I think it's up 4% today, but it's 40,000 one day and 50,000 the next day and 35,000, and it's maybe confusing or you think you've missed it. Getting involved with crypto hedge fund is probably something that you want to at least consider, because guys, cryptocurrency is not going anywhere. And NovaTech's also trading in Forex. They've got some Bitcoin machines that they're doing down in Florida. They're registered with the FinCEN, which is the Financial Crime Enforcement Network or something. It's a national organization. So guys, this company is legit. It's been around for about 3 years. In the summer of 2019, it formed, and they started trading in August of 2019. And when I asked Bill a few questions, Bill's the gentleman who introduced this to me. I asked him a few questions, like everybody does, right? What's it cost to get involved, and how long has it been around? The things that I learned really seemed like they were too good to be true. But now, after watching this live event today, this Zoom event with the CEO, I see exactly how this works and why it works. I know that it's been working for me. I got involved 14 weeks ago, and it's blown my mind. But guys, look, NovaTech's been around since the summer of 2019. And when I asked Bill a few questions, one of the questions I had was, what's their track record? Because if I'm going to get involved with a mutual fund or stock exchange or anything, I'd sort of like to know, the future can't be guaranteed, but what's the past been like? And he said, "Scott, every single Friday, without fail, not most Fridays, not occasionally, every Friday, everybody that's had an account sitting at NovaTech has earned an average of 3%. Every Friday. Now, since I've been involved, I think twice it's been below 3, and the rest of the time it's been above 3. It's probably averaged a little bit over 3. But for 2.5 years now, every single Friday, everybody that had an account grew their money by an average of 3%. Now, that's pretty interesting. I think it was Albert Einstein that said that compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. So in this live event, you'll notice I put a little link down there, and it's not a NovaTech link. It's a calculator you can find online. But I would love for you to watch this video for a few minutes. If it interests you, or if you want to, consider it, get back to the friend who shared this video with you and have a conversation with them about this calculator. Here's what I mean by that. Guys, I've shared this with folks over the last few months, and people have dropped in what I call kind of, unusual amounts of money. We're talking 6 figures. Other people have dropped in $300. Everybody is in different stages in their lives. So I want to encourage you, after you've done your due diligence and you figure out what NovaTech is and how you get involved, understand what your game plan is. Use that calculator to understand what your game plan is. I would suggest to you to look at a 4-year horizon. People can relate to 4 years, presidential election cycles, they amortize a car, whatever. 4 years is something we can relate to. Most of us think we're going to be around in 4 years. So use different numbers. In the calculator, put in $500, then put in, that you start with $500. I'm not saying you need to, just as an example. Put in $500, put in 4 years, put in 3% compounded weekly. Don't want to get into any kind of big numbers on this call, but you're going to be Surprised where the commas are placed in 4 years, right? We'll just say it that way. Then you might be sitting there, you might be thinking, $500, I don't get out of bed for $500. Well, all right, big boy, big girl, put in $5,000 and see what that looks like after 4 years at 3%. You'll be surprised there's multiple commas involved. And then, I've had people say, hey, look, Scott, I don't see this as spending money. I've got $25,000 sitting over here and it's performing in this vehicle and it's getting me these results. I'm seeing 3% weekly for almost 3 years with you guys at NovaTech. I'm going to take that 25 and I'm going to reallocate it. I'm going to put it to work over here in a job where it pays better, right? So I encourage people to not look at this as spending money. You're reallocating it, right? Like I have money at work that's in a 401k plan. If I have to go in there and get it, I got to go through all kinds of hoops and put in a letter and I get a penalty and the government's all up down my back, right? In our world, we're moving 25,000 to a vehicle like NovaTech. And here's the thing. When I was considering doing this, I asked Bill, okay, well, how accessible is that money? You're talking about moving it. Is it locked up? Because other crypto things that I've seen over the years that have sort of come and gone, they locked my money up, right? I gave them Bitcoin and they said, hey, thanks for your 5,000. We're going to pay you 1% every day. By the way, if you give us 10,000, we'll pay you 2% every day or whatever, right? They made promises. NovaTech isn't like that. What happens is you create a trading account. You let NovaTech traders do their work with your money, right? It's an allocated account, right, with other people. At any time, you have access to it, right? Let's just say that you get with your friend and you start an account tomorrow. And then 2 months from now, your daughter says she's got to get married or wants to get married, not has to get married, but your daughter is going to get married. And all of a sudden you're thinking, great, I just put that money over there. Now it's locked up. Guys, it's not locked up. It's accessible. Pull it out. Do whatever you need to. Over the last few months as I've been involved, I've put money in. I've taken money out. I put money in. I've moved it over here. I've taken it to Cash App. It's been very fluid. All right. So NovaTech, cryptocurrency hedge fund. They've done really well. They're very conservative. One of the things that I enjoyed about watching the CEO today was she talked about how they vet their traders, how they have to go through a 30-day trading process, and they want conservative returns. They don't want a guy hitting 10% one day and losing 12% the next day. They want somebody to create a consistent, steady pattern of results. It might only be 0.5% a day, right? So they have these people trading on your behalf while you're at soccer, while you're at work, while you're swimming or doing whatever you do. You're letting people work with your funds, right? Totally accessible anytime. Now, so when I'm asking Bill, okay, so the company has never had a losing week in 2.5 years. They're not one of these people making promises, but they're sharing their profits with us, and they've never had a losing week in 2.5 years. All right, check, right? They're in an industry, cryptocurrency, that I'm interested in, and I might not be, terribly proficient. I'm more proficient than some and less proficient than others, but I know it's a moving, trending upward business, and Forex is a multiple trillion-dollar world, right? So the industry was comfortable, so check, right? So then the leadership. When I looked at our leadership, and I've talked to people on my team that have traveled the world with our CEO, Cynthia, and because, guys, I'm like everybody else. When I heard about this, I'm like, who's in charge? Okay, Cynthia, beep, 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 beep. And I Googled, right? Now, our CEO was very successful in another company, like a promoter, right? And not a president or COO or none of that stuff. She was successful. That company got in trouble in Texas and closed down. And if you go to Google there's a guy out there that tries to attach her as just a promoter into some kind of corporate role, and she wasn't, right? So I was smart enough, I like to say smart enough, to not let Google be the be-all, end-all. I tell people, you can Google Jesus Christ and he's the worst thing ever. You can Google Hitler and he's the best thing ever, and everything in between, right? So I went a little more deeply. I asked people that knew her and knew her character and knew their character. It's a family business. So when I started putting all these things together, I thought the only question is, what am I personally comfortable putting into this? All right. Now, look at me for a second. I am not suggesting that you as my friend or my friend's friend cash out your 401k and put everything they have into this vehicle. What I'd like for you to consider as a friend would be to look at your portfolio, how things are performing. Savings account is 0.0001 or whatever. Where do you currently have assets? Where are they working? How are they working? How much money is your money making you? If you look at NovaTech and you see that it's been 3% for a period of almost 3 years now, paid every week, and you punch $2,000 into this calculator over 3 years, you're going to be really impressed. Now, the last thing I want to mention to you, you might think, well, why is Scott doing this video? Well, when I saw this and I started realizing that it's a bit of a machine, I started telling my friends. And when I started telling my friends in a very natural way, right? I went to Spider-Man the other day. I told 5 friends, hey, I love Spider-Man. I read a good book. Hey, I love this book, right? This was no different. I started telling friends, guys, I found this cryptocurrency hedge fund. It's licensed in Florida. It's registered with FinCEN. I love FinCEN. I love what these guys are doing. Very natural conversation, right? So here's the thing. Let me give you an example. And this is a true example. I had a guy, a Facebook friend. I didn't really talk to him much, but he put in $100,000. Like, boop, there you go, 100,000. Like in the first week I was involved. Now, I only mention that because there's people out there with more money than you think, right? And so he popped in 100,000. Well, I'm in my back office one day and I see 100,000 added into my team, right? Now, guys, you don't have to build a team, right? Well, I just want to show you how a sort of a side project works. I think about 65% of the people here are just investing. They're just getting their 3% or whatever each week, and they're loving life because it's better than everywhere else, right? It doesn't matter if Bitcoin goes up or down. They're right there winning every week so far, right? 35% of us go, well, wait a second. Well, tell me more about telling other people. Because what happens is this guy dropped 100 grand in there. I got $5,000 based on his package, which was the $100,000 package. When he got to that 100,000 level, it triggered a bonus to me, right? A referral bonus. I referred him, I get a bonus. So I get $5,000, I plop it on top of my trading balance. And then I got to thinking, man, this is crazy. So the first week rolls around, that guy that had the 100,000 in, sure enough, 3%. He wakes up Friday morning, he rubs his eyes, drinks his coffee, and goes, wow, there's $3,000 in my account. Scott, this is the best thing I've ever seen. And I get in my back office. Sure enough, when he got $3,000, guys, I got, because he got a check, I got a check match. Not a check, but a payment, right? So I got a check match on his 3. So I get 5% of 3,000, 150, not a month, a week added just for that one guy each time. Now, $100,000 is a big deal, but here's the thing. If everybody's winning every week, and I'm not saying that you are, there's no guarantees like anything else, right? So far though, for 2.5 years, everybody's won every week. So I started thinking, well, if I had 10 people that I told about this and they were all winning, if NovaTech wins, they win. If they win, I win. If I win, this person wins, and we're all winning. You see, I've built organizations in the past, and people that communicated well did well. People that could sell did well, right? I've done well in that world, but not everybody wants to do that. Not everybody can do that, right? By sell or communicate well, right? Here, everybody wins, and they don't go anywhere. You know, in the product world, if the product makes you lose hair, you stop taking it. If it makes you fat, if it makes you skinny, if it makes you grumpy, if it gives you heartburn. Here, if I sign up Jerry and Jerry's winning every week, Jerry ain't going anywhere. If I sign up Donna, same thing. Sam, Tyrone, Stan, whoever I introduce this to is sitting there. Because every week, whether they put in 500, 5,000, or 50,000, or 5 million, every week they're winning, right? As they win, they hit different package levels. So if someone comes in at 2,000, and then that first week rolls around and they get their bonus and they lump it on top and they think, man, this is working. I'm gonna put in another 4,000. Well, when they hit the next package, it triggers the next piece of the bonus. So now what I'm realizing is I kept sharing and sharing. And as I brought people in, I would put them into my organization to help other people. And over these last 13 or 14 weeks, I've seen this thing turn into a machine, so much so that I told my wife yesterday, I said, baby, this thing is the purest production machine I've ever seen. And I told her, I'm going to introduce you to my 2 partners, because if I drop dead of a heart attack tomorrow, this thing keeps going. It doesn't care if Scott's here, because right now I've brought in 60 people or so, 60, right? And let's say that each one of those eventually get to $10,000 trading. They start with 2 or they start with 700, but at some point they get their trading account to 10,000. And let's say that all 60 people get their trading account to 10,000. So now, what is that? $600,000 in trade. Well, 600,000, if they all make 3%, which is the average of the 600, that's 180,000, call it 200,000 so I can do the math. So there's 200,000 that week that everybody has made, right? So I'm making 5% of that. When you start looking at the math, and that's weekly, and that's only one way, that's not including the money that I'm making on my own personal account. Guys, NovaTech is quite interesting. It is a machine. So look, here's the thing. I've decided with a friend of mine, Bill Fox, I'm going to do a Zoom every Tuesday and every Thursday with Bill and Kurt. So Kurt is a 30-year financial planner who's involved with us in this business, and he's helping his people hit retirement levels that they didn't think they'd ever be able to get to. Kurt's helping those folks, right? Bill is incredibly intelligent and has really delved deeply and done his due diligence, because he had been burned pretty badly in the past. So he's really done a lot of due diligence in this. And then myself, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we're going to do a Zoom call, because what I'd like to do is to not only help you, but obviously, you can choose. You might want to share this with your friends, but there's a lot going on here, right? You don't exactly know how to tell the story or how to communicate it. Fine. All you do is say, I started with 5,000 and it's here now, and they do a call on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Why don't you come in and listen, right? You're not selling anything. You're not running down your friends and family. You're saying, hey, this is working for me. I've been in for 14 weeks and I've been paid every week, right? It's an interesting story to tell. As you start to see it and feel it and engage with it and understand who's in it, you're going to feel more and more comfortable. As you become more comfortable, that's the gasoline on the fire that helps you tell the story more compellingly. And then they come in and they watch the Zooms, and then your friends feel better, and off it goes, and nobody's selling everything and anything, and everybody's winning all the time if the future is like the past. Guys, you can see why I had to jump on. I'm as big a football fan as anybody, but I was sitting on the couch watching football thinking, I am sitting here, and every minute I sit here, somebody out there is trying to plan their 2022, and they have no idea where their income's going to come from, and I'm sitting here holding the frickin' Ferrari of income opportunities. I have got to get on a live event and share what I know. So get back with your friend and ask them to help you with this compound interest calculator that's on here. Ask them for a link. We literally have a what to do first link. So your friend's just going to go, here's what to do first. Here's my link. Join with me. I'm not saying join with me. I'm saying join with your friend, right? Get a what to do first. Boom, boom, boom. You're going to have cryptocurrency, because it's cryptocurrency in, cryptocurrency out. You don't have to be an expert, but you do have to know enough to get a crypto wallet and to put it in there. Now, people say to me in closing here, they say, well, Scott, Bitcoin might go up to $100,000 next year or $200,000 the next year. Yeah, I'm a fan, right? But a $40,000 Bitcoin, I'm not saying you would put 40,000, but if you put $40,000 in NovaTech, right, and the entire amount that you have in Bitcoin, let's say, $40,000, and it continues at 3% weekly, and you compound it, guys, I don't know the exact math. Bitcoin would have to go to like $500,000 in 24 months or some kind of crazy thing, right? To even approximate what you would get compounding at 3% weekly. This is a pure vehicle of change for your family, but you've got to jump in, sit down in the chair, and turn the key, right? This is the vehicle that can take you from where you are in January 22 to where you see yourself in January of 25, but it's up to you, and really only you, to understand where you can enter. In other words, is it 500, 5,000, 50,000, whatever? You only make that decision. You get into the car, you turn the keys, you turn on the radio, and you enjoy the ride, right? Don't do anything that makes you stressed out. but reallocate, or I would suggest that you consider reallocating what's currently over here to the NovaTech machine. Thanks, guys, for jumping on with me here for a few minutes. Have a great Sunday afternoon. I hope to see you guys on Tuesday night. All right? Thanks. Have a great night. Bye.